All right, today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. We will go down go through our 119 status. I think, Xing, you had a couple PRs out from last time. Have they been resolved?
Yeah, I think the CSI task that's merged. So I think we have updated the one in house monitor that depends on it, and so I just need to review it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I guess first up, I'm looking at doing a bunch of cleanup stuff in the external provisioner since we're doing a major release. We're trying to do all the potential breaking changes at once. This is one change that is outstanding. I think we might want to consider changing the default number of worker threads. I'm having a person on my team investigate this, and actually I think after the change that separated out the leader election client from the provisioner client, this issue doesn't seem to be reproducible anymore. So I wonder if that was actually the issue and not go routine throttling or starvation. So this might be a non-issue and we might not need to really do anything here, which would be nice. Let's see.
So I do have a question.
Oh, yeah?
The external provisioner. So I think we will need the 1.19. We need updated dependency. So I was just thinking that means because we just updated the snapshotter and also the provisioner lib to 1.18. And now I think we need 1.19. So we need to do that one before we update the provisioner.
So I think, yeah, provisioner needs 119 to get the API changes that Patrick needs.
Yeah.
But I thought, or I was hoping that if we separate out the snapshotter API libraries, then we no longer have that problem where we depend on snapshot when we're pulling in snapshotter transient dependencies for 119.
It's not just a snapshot, it's also the provisioner library that's also.
Yeah, so definitely the
So
provisioner library we need to update, but like I'm not actually, after we do the split for the snapshotter APIs, I'm not sure we need to also update snapshotter.
yeah, I don't know. That's the part that I'm not sure. So we'll see when we try it out. But probably still good to update it anyway, since
Yeah.
just to get all the sidecars at the same version if we need to update it anyway. So
Yeah, I think it'll be nice to have, and I think we can potentially, code thaw was supposed to be like today, but it was delayed, I think, because there's a lot of failing tests and stuff. But we can use like a RC 119 beta build or something like that.
yeah. Yes, I think Humble said he can, because I think Humble started one that is for update to 1.18. That one is not merged, and then my coworkers that started one updated using 1.19 RC. So, but then she just combined the two. Humble says he can do that. So yeah, just ping him
Okay.
to do that work.
Okay, sounds good. And then I know I think folks on your team were interested in the fix that waits for the attach detach before deleting the volume. Is that right?
Yeah, but it looks like there's some problem with the, right? Because if the minimum version is 1.17, then the custom
Yeah.
is still on 1.16. So
Yeah.
I don't know
So
what
like,
else.
yeah, unfortunately, since that change adds new RBAC rules and stuff, we can't really backport it. So
Yeah, I see that is the problem. Yeah.
yeah, I presented a couple options, so hopefully that will help unblock and solve the issue.
Yeah, I think we are discussing and see what we should do. So
Okay, sounds good. All right, and then next is image publishing. I believe the rollout has started. It's a 4-day rollout, so hopefully by tomorrow it should be complete. I haven't seen any emails talking about any problems or anything.
I wonder. So I seen there was some email saying that, you know, they did the what do they call vanity flip or something. I don't know what is
Uh-huh.
the term. I click on that. It's asked. It's like you have to get this new account or something. You can have a free account for some time. Is that? But you probably don't have the problem. I don't know if other people have this thing. Are you supposed just to get a free account and you can actually see it? I actually don't really, because I click on it, right? There's that link to see this new image publishing location. Basically, it's just saying, okay, you can have a free account for something, and then there is an option for you to buy. So I was just wondering if everyone else sees the same thing. You probably don't have the problem. You probably have an account already. I'm just wondering, other people would see the same thing? Is that I just need to get a free account? Is that what I'm supposed to do if I want to see? Because somebody posted a link and then with some graph, so I click that link. But you know that.
So let's see. The link So I think if you just use like standard Docker tools to like this should be public, a public repository. So if you just use standard Docker tools to query what images are there, you should be able to see it. I think the link that it sends you to is like if you're sort of like a maintainer of this project and the repo and you want to like do admin things like change settings and stuff, which I don't even think I have access to. So I think if you just use standard Docker commands to like query the contents of the repo, you should be able to see what images are in there.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. For Windows, there's been some active work going on. They're working on creating new beta APIs for everything. So that's in progress. Next is Volume Health.
Yeah, so basically it's just so there's one unit test PR now. I think it's unblocked because the CSI test PR got merged. So I will take a look of that, and then I think there's more PR on unit tests will be submitted soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next up is snapshots.
Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah, I wanted to ask about a volume health beta.
Beta. Right now the alpha.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Like,
You're asking for beta.
yeah. Is there a plan? Like, is 120 the planning on going to beta, or?
We have not even not discussed about that yet.
Okay. Okay. I'm just asking.
I was actually wondering if before we go beta, should we think about adding this into the like PBC status so that we can actually really curate? Otherwise, it's always just do you want to go beta with the events? I mean, that's the thing that we probably should talk about, right? So
yeah, and I think the other open item was whether or not we should have kubelet actually doing the node side of things instead of this external thing.
Doubt it. They're going to say no for everything. So yeah. Oh, and also and what was my other? Oh, I was thinking that if we want to, let's say, if we want to add this PVC status thing, I think for the pod probably will be a challenge, right? So maybe we can just do the PVC status, but not the pod. The pod maybe just still be in the events or something. I was not sure what. Yeah, so those are the things that we still need to talk about. So maybe let's wait until we get this one implemented first. So Ben, you have any plan to implement this in your driver?
Yes, but our policy is we don't implement stuff that's alpha. So when
Okay.
it becomes beta, it becomes interesting.
Okay.
To,
You implement a
consider.
snapshot right in alpha.
That's different. So we will prototype things, but we will not ship them to customers until it's beta.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're interested in the health stuff and working with it, but like I've had people ask me, when's it going to go beta, because that's when we want to actually deliver it to users.
So that's, yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? So would you want more drivers implemented and see how that works before we move it to beta, but then drivers are waiting for this one to go beta first.
Well, I mean, I have test drivers where I could implement it.
Okay.
I guess that's why I'm bringing it up. So if there are specific milestones we need to reach before it can go beta, and if NetApp can help with those, then that's what I'd like to know about.
Oh, okay. So why don't we? Yeah, we can think up on this one maybe a little bit later. So I also want to take a look over the cap, what we have there. But I really like to see if it's possible to add this in PVC status. That'll be nice before we go beta. Unless if you really think it's good just to go beta just with the events, because otherwise, once this is beta, it's in events, we can't really easily deprecate it, right? So I would like to have something that is more finalized.
Yeah, I guess what we need is after alpha's in the rearview mirror, start having some planning meetings on volume health beta, and get back into the swing of figuring out what the next step is with the right people involved. I don't think we have everyone here in this meeting to have that discussion, but maybe we need to start doing those meetings again.
Sure. Yeah. So I can maybe let's wait until we have a few things that we want to get merged first.
Yeah.
And then, let's talk about it. Yeah.
Sure. Right, okay. Cool.
All right. Awesome. And next we have snapshots.
So I think I have one PR that update our status that got merged yesterday. And there's another, I think there's another change. I think there's I think Michelle is, I think he's your coworker. I think he's going to work on that. And then, and I think the bigger thing is this mobile API generated clients. I think it's there are a few small things that I reviewed it. I asked Karthik to fix it. Is it just a few things that we need to document, and a few things after you generate it automatically, you actually need to go manually fix a few things. So those are things we need to make sure that we can, if we somebody want to do it again, we can repeat the same thing. So we want to make sure the process is correct. So, and then, if that's all right, then we can actually call ARC build and see if it works okay. Yeah, so I think that's the status.
Okay, sounds good. And I had a meeting with Sean, Chen, Andy, and Jordan to talk about adding a webhook to do more validation on the APIs. And the conclusion is that it's going to be a bit complicated.
Is it? Oh,
our life would have been a lot easier if we had added the webhook at the time that we went to beta. But now that beta is out without a webhook, if we want to tighten validation, that's gonna be tough to maintain backwards compatibility. So we had a long meeting with Jordan to kind of discuss options on this, and I think Andy and Sean Chen are currently writing up a document, and we'll share it soon. I think, but I think it's gonna have to be a two-step rollout. Where basically we have one release where we introduce the webhook, and the webhook will only apply to new objects created. Existing objects that are invalid have to continue to work, but only new objects will start being enforced by the webhook. And at the same time, we would need another controller to go and try to clean up invalid objects. And then we have one release of that, and then we have one release of that, and then we can actually move to GA with the webhook there and start enforcing it for everything.
That's pretty awkward.
It's pretty painful. It would have been a lot better if we had waited to do the beta until we had the webhook. But yeah.
Anything else other than webhook? Is there anything else that we're missing? I don't want another one that shows up before we go GA.
I think in order to go to GA, I think having the webhook is important, and also having metrics. Right. I think that's another big missing piece.
Metrics is not something that you have to wait for additional release, right? It's just to add it.
Oh, correct. Yeah. The things that you have to wait additional releases for are all API related kind of things.
Okay, so that will push our GA date for at least one release. Right?
Yes, unless we can magically get the webhook implemented
in 2019.
I don't think so.
We'll have 1 month, right? If he's working on this 100%, it's possible. So I don't know what is his workload. So maybe, yeah. We'll see if he's 100% working on this one. I think it's possible to get, and also we don't.
It'll be tough,
but we don't, and also we don't have to cut on the same day when the 19 GA, right? We usually could wait for weeks as well. So maybe we should try that. I'll pin Xiangqian about this. I thought we are fine last time I heard. Yeah, just definitely hope that we don't have to wait for yet another release with this. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So that's the main update I have from the snapshot side.
And also, is it Andy is working on this one, right?
Yes.
How long will? I thought he's not there. I think will be there only for a couple months. But he's still be.
Yes, he's
finish this.
He's our intern, and he is finishing his internship end of August.
Oh.
All right.
So yeah. I think we need to see. Okay, I'll pin Xiangqian, see if it's possible for him to get this done, because otherwise, then it's better to just since he started this one, it's better to get it done by him.
Yep, agree. All right. Next up, we have volume expansion. Is Hamat on the line? Nope. I think last call Hamat mentioned that there was 1 or 2 changes that he wanted to make in this sidecar. Other than that, though, I think other than that, I think all the entry changes are in. So I think we're looking good on that front.
Yeah, that's what he said. Do we have links to those changes, or are they still TBD?
I think, oh, you mean the sidecar ones?
Yeah.
I
am not sure he has a PR out for them yet.
Oh, I think I actually have a question. Maybe only Haman can. I think, remember he added some changes in the CSI for the node expansion, added some new parameters there. I don't know if that change made it into kubelet entry. It seems like it's not there. Check the code. Looks like
it's here. This one. Add extra fields in node expansion CSI call.
Okay, so that merged. Oh, okay. I need to check again. I somehow thought I checked the code. It's not there. All right.
Yeah. Should be there.
20 days ago, so that should be 119. So maybe this thing, maybe Ben, I think you also said this. You are saying the field, the volume path. You said sometimes staging path, sometimes is the bind mount path. And
yes, it's very confusing.
No, so I guess I'm asking if you're doing online expansion, should it always be the same one thing, not like can be this and be that?
The spec says that the CO can send either one, and I made a change that said that you have to send the staging path separately.
That's a CO. Basically, Kubernetes can set either one, but right, that's
hold on.
Yeah,
I hope my change merged. I'm trying to remember if it did.
You did any change? So we look at your driver, NetApp driver. You are actually looking at that. You are doing something to find the mount path. It's like you are searching for some, because we are working on online extension now, and found that it's staging path. We're still getting the same staging path, and it's not working. So I was just wondering, like, how did this work for you?
So
others?
Yeah, basically, if we call node expand after stage, then we call the staging path. But if we call node expand after publish, it's going to be the publish path.
So that's the part that we're not getting. So that's why I thought maybe this change is not. Oh, maybe because we are using earlier version of Kubernetes. Maybe that's why. Okay, maybe that. Okay, so
it needs this change here, Hamon's change that just merged.
Okay, so if we have 1.19, then this is actually probably not backported, maybe. So if we have this change in master, then if this is called after node publish, we should get the final mount path, right? That's the change that he made, correct? The bind path, basically, bind mount path. Right?
This change, this PR here is what he's making a change to pass the different paths.
But there's only two paths that are referred to by the spec. There's the staging path and the publish
so
path.
I'm talking about the. So remember, there are. I think this is the second parameter is still called volume path, but after this change in this,
but there's a fourth parameter called staging target
I know,
path.
but the thing is, I don't really need that. I think I need the volume path. So I just want to know, like, which is it if I get the master.
There's no guarantee that you will get the volume path.
No, if it's online expansion, you are saying that's still not guaranteed.
The way that the spec is written, there is no situation where the only situation where the CO is obligated to send you the publish path is if you don't implement node stage unstage. If you implement node stage unstage, the CO always has the option of sending you only that path. The way the spec is written.
But you're talking about CO, but then what about the Kubernetes implementation? What are we? It has to be something. It can't be like sometimes this, sometimes that. What's the criteria?
No, it actually can. I mean, and that's the problem is that the spec was written all mushy.
But what did the commit sending right now? I guess that's what I'm
wondering. So the implementation that Hamont has here is if we call node expand after stage, we pass in the staging path. And if we call node expand after publish, we pass the publish path.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I'm interested in. That means if I get this master code, I should get the publish path. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because we are testing online expansion now. If we getting we are right now still getting the staging path, which does not work because the publish already happened. The publish already happened. That's why I was wondering. Okay. So I think it's because we are using an older version of Kubernetes. I think that's.
But the problem you're going to face is because of the way the spec is written. There's no guarantee that things won't change in the future. So you have to write your code such that if you get the staging path,
how do you decide? How do you decide that whether it is the staging path or publish path? You just look at the convention, how those paths are formed. Because
that's the other insidious thing about the way the spec was written is that not only do they not tell you which one you're going to get, but they don't tell you which one you've gotten.
How we are going to determine. So I thought after Hamid made this change, this problem should be fixed. It should not be ambiguous anymore.
Yeah. So that was the big benefit of the change I made was to try to address this problem where you at least know which one you got.
I'm confused. Herman made this change and you made another change. Why is your changing?
I changed the spec itself to add another optional parameter that was explicitly called staging target path. It's the fourth parameter to node expand volume request.
Right. So I see that one. So is that
so that was not there in the original spec, and the idea is the COs that implement some version of CSI that includes my change. I think the wording says that they
so you mean if the staging path, the fourth parameter is set, then
yeah, it says if the stage unstaged volume capability otherwise is empty, and if not empty, it must be the absolute path in the root file system of the process serving this request.
Okay, so once the staging path is set, then you can for sure the volume path is the published path. Is that what you mean?
It not necessarily. Because
it's still hard to decide.
the problem, we wanted to change this, but because we made this a GA feature immediately, we were unable to make a backwards incompatible change to the spec. The spec said that field can be a staging path. So there's no way to say that it can't be the staging path without breaking backwards compatibility. So we just added this new field so that, and we said implementation should put the staging path in the staging target path field, and they should put the published path in the volume path field.
For your driver, when you do this online expansion, I see that you are also looking for something. So it's not like you are taking the stage path and then use it directly. So is that true for everybody? Like they have to use the
a lot of drivers don't actually put a mount in the staging path. They put other metadata there.
So the way I see this implementation here, it looks like if node expand is called after stage, then both the mount path and the stage path are going to be the same. So they're both going to be set to the staging path. And then, but if it's called after publish, then the mount path is going to be the mount target path, and the stage path will be the staging path.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's the case, if that's for sure, at least for Kubernetes, then I think that should work.
But I don't think you can
guarantee that. But
count on that.
I'm just at least if we're testing with Kubernetes, that's the way it works. If we're testing with another CO, then
with a certain version of Kubernetes, you could rely on that behavior, but it's not. There's no guarantee it won't change in the future, and there's no guarantee that someone won't do something weird.
Yeah, but then but if we don't know how to determine, then we don't know what we can do.
So because of these horrifying features of the CSI spec, we have decided to like store state on the node so that we can disambiguate this stuff. Like we maintain a local table of mapping from volume IDs to everything we know about those volumes, so that we only need the volume ID to figure out what's going on.
I see. So maybe we need to do something like that.
Yeah, it's the only way to deal with this kind of ambiguity, is to maintain your own state on the node.
Okay. Okay then. Probably we need to so it's okay, so now I think at least now I know. And for you, Ben, are you guys also testing both offline and online, or you always just test one? You just test the online?
I'm pretty sure we test
both.
What I mean, online and offline that's not where the real dichotomy is. It's a question of whether it's
I mean, the steps is a little different, right? So you just
it's a question of whether it's in use or not in use, and the other interesting case is when it's in use by multiple nodes at the same time. I mean, there's a bunch of different. I have like 16 different expand tests to catch all the different, combinations of things that can happen, because you want to try expanding, a read-only volume and a read-write volume. You want to try expanding a multi-attached volume and a single attached volume. You want to make sure you handle blocks and file systems. There's all these different combinations of things that need testing to be sure that it works.
Yeah, I don't think we have tested read-only yet.
It's the read-only ones where most of the problems that I found existed. Because initially, it's just assumed that, oh, it's read-only, you can't resize it, and that's not true. A lot of things can be resized while they're read-only, because you don't need to modify the file system to do the resize.
So, Shing, if your driver is using the Kubernetes test suites to test, there is both an offline expansion test case and an online expansion test case that you can run.
Yeah, I think we are writing our own test. We are referencing this, but I think we are writing our own tests. We're not using this one directly, so yeah. I was just wondering how other people handle it, because we just introduced the offline expansion. It doesn't make sense to suddenly say this doesn't work anymore. You have to do online. So we want to support both. I just wonder how other driver does that. So
yeah. So, but like, yeah, if your driver uses this test suite, you will have both an offline and an online expansion test case that automatically runs.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to add. So we already have offline tests. So I think we need to add a new test for online. Yeah.
All right. Any other topics anyone wants to bring up? Oh, sorry. I forgot. Christian, you have the CSI driver changes.
Yeah, there haven't been any updates on it since Monday. I've talked to Clayton for review.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Oh, and the docs is still on my plate to review as well. I'll try to take a look at that.
Thank you.
Did you mention that the vanity domain flip finally happened?
Yeah, it's in the process of rolling out. I think it's a 4-day rollout and it's on day 3 out of 4. So far, no problems, I think. So crossing our fingers.
What does vanity flip mean?
So there's an alias, kates.gcr.io.
Okay.
And currently that alias is pointing to, or not currently, but before it was pointing to gcr.io/Google containers or something like that.
Okay.
And that is a Google-owned project. And the Kubernetes community came up with a new community-owned project called like Kate's prod artifacts or something like that. But they want to reuse the same kates.gcr.io domain. So they're basically doing that switchover for the resolution. So that it will flip over and go to the new place.
Okay.
And then once the rollout is complete and there's no issues, then we can go ahead and start changing all of our tests and our manifests that we have to start pointing to the images that we created in the new repository instead of the Quay images.
And we publish to the. Do we publish to the vanity domain or do we publish to the actual URL?
We publish to the actual repo.
Okay, so that's why it matters to us.
Yes.
Because we're going to point to gcr.io/Kate's prod artifacts or something.
Yes.
All right.
And the other awesome thing about the new repo is that we're also publishing multi-arch images. So I think there's been some asks from a lot of folks for like other image types, so that will now be supported as well.
By multi-arch, do you mean Linux and Windows, or do you mean multiple CPUs? for Linux?
The CPU Arch.
CPUs. Okay, so Windows images
like
are still
AMD 64.
separate.
Windows images are also getting published there too.
But not in the same image?
So yeah, it's the same image, I think.
I don't know enough about how Windows stuff works.
It's the same name, and it will just pull the correct one for your environment, I think.
Oh.
Let me see if I can find it.
Some kind of Docker repository magic.
Yeah. Let's see if I can dig up the code. Where did it go? Where's the PR? Can't find it. There's too many. That's not helpful.
I guess my main concern is that the multi-arch images would not like be heavier downloads, so that because everyone has to download these images to all the nodes in there, or not all of them nodes, but every time you install a CSI driver, you're going to be pulling these sidecars. So if they get bigger because we're cramming multiple arches and multiple OSs into them, like that would be bad.
Oh no, they're all independent images. They're just like all under the same like umbrella name.
Okay, so magic happens
when you
and the
actually
size stays the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're currently building by default AMD 64 for Linux and Windows, and PPC 64.
You're saying the name, the image name is the same, but then it can figure out which one to use? Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
the image, it will just be CSI-provisioner, colon v1.0 or whatever, and then it figures out the platform architecture that you're running on and pulls the right image.
That's good.
It's very magical. All right. Anything else? All right, then we'll end for today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.